course, any sub-risk assessment takes into account the 1 in 100 year plus climate change event, flood event. So that's built into that assessment. Very positive.
Just one of them with regard to extraction. The environment is still undertaking a review of the extraction or the future extraction agreements with Thames Water.
Yeah.
And this is something we've been discussing with the Environment Agency. Is extraction a requirement of Thames Water? What there are allowances, which are an obvious work, and what that would be in the future. It's not set in stone. But that's why I think we have a bit of a dynamic thing going on here, because we are learning as we go along. I think there's quite a lot of your concerns, I have to say, about these things, are things that we're concerned about too, and that we need to work together. No one said this before, but we have the opportunity, and I don't know if you personally want to continue that.
Very quickly, because where I've heard quite a bit from people here saying about the concerns. Obviously, I'm interested in the concerns, but I'm equally interested in engaging what the support is for something like this, because this is going to have an impact on what we would want to do in the future. We go out for expressions of interest. We try and we look to generate interest in future schemes. So, I mean, if within the community here there's a lot of support of it, I'd actually like to hear that as well.
My question is rather related to that.
Is it?
I was going to ask, changing the subject slightly, what you could say about just about local people being able to invest in it via shares. How would that work? And would other people here be interested? And what sort of money are you talking about? And that kind of thing.
You want to talk about that?
Yes.
No,
the policy we're a community interest company limited by guarantee at the moment, which means that we can't issue shares. And the way of doing a community sharing being used throughout the country is to use quite an ancient company law structure called the Industrial Cooperative Society, which is a form of cooperative. It's regulated by the Financial Services Authority, and there are levels of investment from £500 up to a maximum of £20,000. Generally, doing 60 flash investments like time. We'd be delighted. There is a set return on investment, so it's not the case where you can give a dividend, you can extract all the profits from the company and then pay out a dividend. The interest is the return on investment is capped, and thereafter the rest of the profits would get reinvested into a community fund. So it's different from owning, shares in Tesco or Sainsbury's or whatever company. It's a different kind of investment, and it's very much on the ethical investment side. It's not unfortunately going to make the rich, but it will be investing in projects that giving back benefits in the community more generally, and that's the model from the Industrial Cooperative Society.
But if you are on your figures looking to raise £1 million on a float, I'm just looking around the room here, let's say there's 100 people here, that's £10,000 a head, surely. And if that's the degree of interest, and of course people aren't putting £10,000 or so, that seems to be quite ambitious to raise £1 million on a float, plus you've got your loan as well. I'm just looking at your figures. I'm not sure what the loan would be, but depending upon the funding that you get, the loan would be of a similar figure, would it not?
Yes, it would. The
£1 million.
Slightly bigger. Yes, well, we've taken this from a number of other community share issues that have been done up and down the country, and the vast majority that we've spoken to have actually been oversubscribed, including one that was seeking to raise 1.5 million on their initial float. So we are confident, and we're obviously not at the stage to market that as a share issue, but in terms of the research that we've done, we do believe that there's that level of interest within the local community and further afield. And again, our figures are dynamic. We've done the research and we're confident that that is, but if it turns out that it's less, then it would be compensated for different levels of debt finance.
And what's the security for the loan?
We haven't discussed that with the bank yet. I did want to say, but that's the same for any commercial investment.
There's probably not very much equity in the equipment that you're how is that?
20 years of being in Paris is quite significant.
It's not real.
And the bank is not going to invest in a project that's not going to work.
What happens? It's the security that what do you anticipate the security is that they will be looking for, and how do you provide that?
I think the first security that they would take would be over the feed-in tariff. If we're not repaying the level of position, they have a charge over your account. And thereafter, as I mentioned, we need to discuss the security package with the bank related to the project.
So you haven't done that?
No,
What happens if the government scraps the feed-in tariff?
it's set for 20 years.
I'm sure I've heard discussion about them being overstated and there not being much appetite to maintain them.
It's specific to, I think that this is what you might be referring to in relation to big solar. But in any event, the feed-in tariff is set for projects which come in under that barrier. Whether or not they start them in 5 years' time, they're set for projects which are categorized for that moment. So there may be a change of policy in 5 or 10 years' time, but at the moment, the projects which are set up will benefit from feed-in tariff for 20 years in relation to the provision.
Your shares like minimum 500,000, you're just not interested in the working class person then?
Did you say if the shares are a minimum 500,000? Is it?
That's not our minimum, that's not our personal decision. I think that's, he was saying that we're eliminating, he described as a working class, that's the demand for work. It's not our choice, but minimum 500 is to do with the communal allowance.
Well, actually, on that, there's nothing to stop a group of people collectively owning an investment in a company. So if 500 grand, 5 people want to throw in a
I think it takes more than 5 in my friends.
I don't know what the it's quite highly
Yeah, the investment is set by the appetite, not by us. £500,000, £100,000, that's not our figures. That's the Financial Services Authority figures for IDF. Anyone can go to
I would be interested to know Mary's experience with this
Experiences of such things.
My listener, renewable projects, well, firstly I'll talk about the community share issue is actually quite a new challenge for me. I've been working in renewable energy projects. I've been working in energy projects for 12 years and working in renewable energy projects for 5. And I currently advise on the London Array wind project, which is obviously on a completely different scale, but my experience was through doing debt finance rather than through doing community share issues. So that said, these kinds of projects have exactly the same challenges as projects 6 times their size, and that's what makes them difficult for community groups to get off the ground, because we don't have quite the same resources as the big corporates who are developing wind farms and taking the profits and not putting the profits back into the local community. It's very easy to develop a project and, ship in your construction workers and ship them out at the end of the project and have the urgency going back out, and that's not really what we want to do. But we have similar issues to all of the big renewable energy schemes.
There's one critical impact to the point about number of people here, now money. Well, the way we envisage doing the share issue is by opening it up, but it's not going to be only available to people in applications, but when Teddington. So people here will get preference if it is oversubscribed. Our aim is to make it community owned. But in terms of who it's available to, while we're in London, it's a London hydropower project, it's a London renewable energy project in the bigger, broader picture. We're all about local, we're all about making it a local project. And absolutely, if it's oversubscribed and there's a choice between a local person getting the shares or a person from the other side of London, the local person will get the shares. You can set it up in this way. However, the opportunity to pool the people that could invest is much greater and much larger. And the schemes are very described in the past. All of these things which have shown that you know described have been in small communities, not in big cities usually, certainly not in London. So if they can do it successfully, there's plenty of reasons to think that we can. But as May did often say, if that was not the case, it's only a way of doing it. We can take on creating our steps.
On the share.
Sorry about that, but we're going to have
question to James. The gentleman behind is talking about benefits to the working class, the working man. Have you done any kind of study about what employment would be generated by this project?
Employment? Well, yeah. There's two ways of that. Number one, of course, all the money will go back to the community, so everyone is benefited in that sense, and the profit will come back. But in terms of the employment bit, there's a range of possible future jobs. I mean, some of them are still to be discussed and decided as the project grows. There's a lot of maintenance aspects of it, which could potential local people. Some of it's quite simple things as far as putting the grates and the various things. So there's a lot of possibility there. I don't want to sound vague, but it's in a bit of discussion, and it's something that we're welcome to take feedback from people on.
So how many people does a typical installation similar size to this employ in the running of it? Just the general day-to-day running of it. I mean, the company that makes these screws, they've sold them to other people already, haven't they? So there must be installations throughout Germany and places like that where they already run them.
I think one of the aspects of the employment comes from the projects which will be invested in the future. So if it is things like, if it's an energy efficiency project, it's in actually training people to do those projects and to do that locally, and to develop local supply chains and to develop local infrastructure to do those kind of environmental and energy efficiency projects in the community. So in terms of direct employment after the construction phase, there won't actually be that many people working on big installations. But in terms of what the profits can then be reinvested in, we do very much a job creation as any one of those potential.
Totally pushing into the whole site. Otherwise it becomes very easy.
I'm interested in river flow. There seems to be one vague comments about the effects that the screws will have on river flow. I've heard nothing mentioned at all about the fact that this particular installation, whereas the other way, this particular installation is in a tidal basin. So what's going to happen for the 2 hours, 4 hours every 24 when the tide's coming in?
I think what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
You're asking about the screws now, what happens to the screws? Well, obviously when they use head, they use action. So, I mean, yes, you're right to point that out.
It does mean that there are periods of time when we won't generate electricity. This has been incorporated into our forecasting, both in terms of, well, crucially in terms of forecasting, we generate the money we can make and how we can pay back money. That has been incorporated. The tidal aspect has been incorporated.
Was that your question?
That was your point.
We obviously about the impact. Right, okay.
And the secondary question is you think Ron Hayes earlier about the effect the hydro schemes will have, not just the Teddington, but affect all the other millions, to do with river flows and possible silting of the areas around it.
There's been quite a lot of ongoing studies about this, which we are still referring to and discussing with environment. I know this is something that they're looking at, and it is something that will be considered in regards to the human licenses. So this is the requirement for us to discuss the environment. We are looking at it. If we're vague at all, as Dominic is saying, we are progressing. We haven't built it yet. We don't have a license yet. We have undertaken a lot of studies, but there are more that we are doing, and some of that is being guided by the environment agency. So we are looking at